Yo, hee, ho. Yo, hee, ho.
That's right. Welcome back to the Flagmantle Podcast with Rielke Stu and Stuart Sterling as your hosts for the one and only. That was Tim Minchin with his intro right there. Got to give props to him.
Big ups
for
to
that one.
Minchin.
Tim Minchin.
Thanks to Minchin.
After
It's
a
good
short,
to be back, mate.
a short little incursion,
Yeah.
excursion
You went
down south.
down south. Tell me about down south. What's happening down there?
It was great. I was down there for a bit of work experience. It's
Mm.
quite lovely. I met
Mm.
the whole Triple M crew. It was
Mhm.
really nice. Pretty much what you did for the one day where
Yeah.
you got to go everywhere
Mhm.
and help out with things.
It's fun, hey?
Basically that, but like for the whole week, which was really cool. And got to get on air for a little bit as well, which was
Mhm.
really very lucky. Me and
Mm.
another student were, so we were really appreciative of it. And I'm keen to get back into the real business,
Mm.
mate. Flagmantle.
Mm. This
What's
is where it
happening?
happens.
This
This
is
is where
where-
the magic is.
This-
And I'm excited to be back. It's been about 2 weeks since we've recorded a pod
Probably,
in here.
yeah, probably been in here. So
I
it's,
did one in my bedroom last week.
Yeah.
That was okay.
It was okay.
That was quite fun.
No real card, no
no-
spark.
No real car. There was no buttons. I just had a green screen
You
behind
did
me.
great though. I got to say though,
Um,
you got
thank you.
for like doing it yourself and the initiative.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
we
I just had to
appreciate
do something. you
Everyone
know?
in the Flagmantle family appreciates what you did. Really appreciate
I don't
it.
know. I haven't got any feedback on it from
really?
the Flagmantle family. So
You guys are a bad family.
yeah, you guys.
Stu's speedy recap. It is this episode right here
Mm.
is the mid-season review.
Mm.
And we've got a lot to talk about. So
Mm.
Stu,
Mm.
it's not going to be really a Stu speedy recap, but let's just play the sting anyway. So let's get straight into it.
So there was a few contract extensions to note. Notably, the two-time Brownlow medalist, second best docker of all time. That's right, I said it. The second best, not the best.
Oh.
Sorry, Fifey, you're still a bit behind Pav. But Nathan Fife has re-signed until 2025. And it's rumored that he's on about $400,000 now, which is the average player wage. And Fife has said himself he's...
Not just the average.
the
average.
just the average $400,000 a year. But Fife himself has said that taking a pay cut was probably the right thing to do. He's passed his paydays, his big $1.1 million
Is
8-year deals or whatever he had. So
they're more worth paying off
yes.
to a Brayshaw or a Sarong.
That's
These
what he
sort of
says,
players
yeah.
who need and deserve that money. If you want to keep them at the club, and I think if you reward those players, it's best. And I think it's a really selfless attitude from Nat Fife, and I think he's done the best thing for the club. And as he said, he could never see himself in any other role. At any other club, and he turned away multiple offers from St Kilda, Richmond, Sydney, and Brisbane. So
yeah.
multiple contracts offered, and he said he said no to them. So he's staying loyal, and that just means even more with Walters signing for another 2 years.
On Fife.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you don't let me speak sometimes, Rico.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, but on
I
Fife.
could turn this mic off in 5 seconds if I wanted.
Oh, I could leave the room and turn off the podcast when I get home. I could delete it. I could so quickly delete it. You better watch your mouth. Hey, yo. No, but Nat 5 taking $400,000, taking a huge pay cut to stay at the team. This is what premierships are built on. And if you look back at the Hawthorn triple premiership dynasty teams, that's what they all did. They all took pay cuts so they could be around together and win flags. That's how Geelong keep being really great. They keep hiring experienced
that
guys
mindset. It's the
willing to take a
mindset.
bit of a pay cut in order to play finals, in order to win flags. And that's how Geelong and Hawthorn have been so successful over the years. And shout out Nat Fife, man, taking a huge pay cut to stick around. But the other one you were getting to is Michael Sonny Walters. He's also signed an extension for 2 more years, just like Fife, until 2025. Great news. I mean, he's probably our most dynamic small forward still, even with the rise of Schultze and Switter. I still think Walters is our guy up there, you know. He's our most experienced
Provides
forward.
spark.
Yeah.
And he's
he just-
always going to be reliable in terms of his goal kicking and his leadership around the front pack. And sometimes the forward line needs that. And I think Nat Fife and Michael Walters, whether it be on or off the field, they've done a really good job trying to elevate the young guns coming through. So that was an important news that happened recently, as well as something that just broke recently today. We had Simon Simon Garlick. Dale Alcock.
Mm.
I'm thinking of Simon Garlick. That's
Mhm.
the COO. AFL have really recently appointed or are trying to pull over Dale Alcock over to the AFL board
Mhm.
because he's done some amazing things over here at Fremantle and has been replaced by none other by Chris Sutherland.
Mhm.
He's been at the Fremantle Football Club for quite some time. So just a little bit of background information with him. He's been at the board for almost 10 years now. He's worked with a program before. He's also helped navigate the Dockers through the
Mm.
COVID-19 pandemic. He also was a major influence in trying to bring over Justin Longmuir
Mhm.
as well as Elisa Webb, another ex-Fremantle Docker, back to the club to coach, which was really cool. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what can happen. Obviously, it's a president role, so they're not too much of an influence. Obviously, outside of the game, that's what's bringing all the efforts into. But the CUO, manager of football, coach, all this that happens on field. But presidents actually have quite a lot to do on the outside. They're really the face of meeting new clients and securing new sponsorships for the club. So it's
They
a very
keep
important.
the club running.
It's a very important, and also keeps the atmosphere and the culture going as well. Because
Mhm.
presidents everywhere, and you got to look out for the president because
Mm.
they could put you in a good spot, they could put you in a bad spot. But
Yeah.
that's enough of him. Chris Sutherland, welcome to the Fremantle Dockers.
Mm.
We're really keen to see what you can do as our president, and
Mhm.
we're really thankful and appreciative of Dale Alcock's contribution to the Fremantle Football Club over the past 10 years or so,
Yeah.
I think. So he's done quite a good job, didn't he?
Yeah, he was fantastic. Got Fremantle back on their feet. But the last piece of news was from last week. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Fremantle went into the mid-season draft with one list spot. I think it was it one or two? It was one list spot available.
One list spot only.
Ethan Stanley at pick 8. Fremantle ended up picking him, which is a bit of a weird one because he sort of only got the VFL nod at the start of the year. He's fresh on the scene and he's really, really raw, but he is a winger. He's a 188 winger. He's a great runner, runs both ways, still needs to tidy up some aspects of his game, obviously. And he's quite a late bloomer as well. So it'll be interesting to see why Freo picked someone with such little experience, but obviously they know what they're doing, and they picked up someone that they think will help the team down the track. So one to keep an eye on, Ethan Stanley. Hasn't got a number yet. Me and Rielke were discussing this before.
He's quite an interesting player. He's only played 6 games at Box Hill, Hawks, so for the Hawks seconds, pretty much, so equivalent to our Peel Thunder. So he played 6 games. He was averaging only 15 disposals and a goal, but it was his speed and his athleticism and his agility that really stood out for a player who was basically playing, Vic Country, the Young Gun series. You got an opportunity to play in that Young Gun series with all these, potential draftees this year. And he did really well in that game. He had, 15 touches and 2 goals on the wing. And I think it was that, that gamble on what he can be, because he's quite raw with obviously football in general. But, as you said, 188 centimeters, and is an impressive athlete as well with his power and his speed and his agility. And I think he's going to be great for the culture. And I think it's filling that, that spot on the wing that can move forward that we don't necessarily have. We only got Nathan O'Driscoll, James Aish, Carl Warner, Liam Henry. That's basically it. And you can't really say one of them is a pure winger, except for Nathan O'Driscoll and James Aish, you could argue. But I think now we've located a winger who actually plays wing, and knows that game really well and has so much room for growth. I think Ethan Stanley will be a really important figure and a real important player going forward. I think it's a great pickup from the Dockers at pick number 8.
What I think is really interesting is the Freo's recruiting staff seem very, very intent on getting sort of project players towards the end of draft, towards mid-season draft, towards rookie drafts. They seem to be going for gambles instead of going for solid picks that could sort of fill gaps. But I understand the mindset. I mean, we got Eric Benning, we got Josh Draper, we've got Now Ethan Stanley.
And I think I'm about to aid you right here, and it's already flourishing. Sebek Kwek last year.
Sebek Kwek.
He was a bit of a project player that we picked up, pick 6, whatever he was, but he was really raw, but he showed really good promises at the Waffle, and it's already showing great attributes to his game. He's athletic. He can jump high. I think he's played 8 games for 13 goals or something along those lines. But he's producing some quality footy and is putting his hand up for selection if obviously potentially players go out. Sean Darcy will get into very, very soon.
Yes.
You know what? Why not right now? Sean Darcy.
I thought it was for next podcast.
Next body.
Yeah, where we do the team selection, the injury news.
Oh, sorry. So we'll get into the player analysis. Should we get into that, eh?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you have a button for it?
What?
AFL siren. Press the siren.
Let's go.
Yes. Okay, so for this, we're going to be giving a letter grade for every player on the list. So there is going to be a few players to get through, but that is okay. We'll be quick. So number 1, Sam Sturt. How would you grade his performance between an A and an F so far this year?
Sam Sturt, he'd be a D, plus.
Yep.
Plus because I think he did really, really well in the games that he was chosen. Obviously, he just needs to do a little bit better in terms of contribution and consistency, and he can easily find his way into the side if he just could consistently improve.
This is what we'll do. You'll get odd numbers, I'll get even numbers, and we can...
Yeah, how about
that? So Jake O'Meara, I am going to be giving a B-2. Started off the year pretty slow, but has picked up his form, and is now probably Frio's 3rd rank midfielder, and he's slotted into that role nicely. A shame about the one-man suspension, but that's okay. Now you've got Caleb Sarong.
Caleb Sarong, I have him as an A. I think he's very close from an A+ because he's just fallen off a tiny bit over the past few weeks, but he's still producing really quality footy, and I still think he'll be up there in votes for Brownlow. I think he's in top of the leaderboard right now for the Fremantle Doig votes, in my opinion, and I think a few players may be closing in, but Caleb Sarong, arguably one of our top 3 players, top 2, top 1 even, you could argue, of this season. So I'm giving him an A.
Yep. So Sean Darcy is next.
My bad. That was meant to be a... Sorry.
Wrong button, buddy.
Sorry,
Sean Darcy. I'm giving a B+ to Big Sean. Nothing really to complain about, but he hasn't really gone to the next level just yet. But that will come with time. Obviously, a new partner in Luke Jackson. So, Sean Darcy, B+, solid start, but
solid start with the
hasn't
connection.
Jumped.
Very good connection. I'm going into Lockie Schultz right here. I think he's actually had his best season to date, in my opinion. I think he's going to have a B+, I guess. I think he's had a pretty good season. I think the games he's played in, I think he's had maybe 1 or 2 bad ones, but besides that, he's been really consistent with his effort. And I think when he's up and about, Fremantle have been winning really well. And I think a lot of Fremantle's best wins are all for him, all because of him. So, Lockie Schultz, B+. I think you've done really well this year, mate. And I think Stewie agrees too.
Yeah, I agree. Jordan Clark is next on the list. I think he's had a solid season for Jordan Clark. When he's flying, Freo are flying. His ball use from the back half is very important, and so is his run. I think he can work in his defensive game a little bit more, but I'm going to be giving him a C+ so far. He's had a pretty good start to the year.
Solid effort from Jordan Clark. I think
this one's tricky.
Nat Fife. I'm on number 7 now. We can easily go through these quite really fast. I think Nat Fife has actually had really... obviously injuries been there, but for what he's been able to produce in his games that has been back, I think it's a solid C+ effort. I think he's been really good in those couple of games he's come back. Obviously the medical sub one, the tactical sub, he was really good. I think he did really well in that one. I think everyone's sleeping on him. So I'm thinking C+ because of the games he's played. You could argue it's worse because he hasn't played that much.
Andy Brayshaw is next and was our best player last year. Had a bit of a strange start to the year, but, a few corkies, a few tagging roles, he just hasn't had the start that we wanted, but he's picked up form and he's contributing nicely. When Freo are playing well, Andy Brayshaw is playing well, so I'm going to give him a C+ as well.
I think it's a bit too harsh. I think he deserves a B. I think he deserves a B.
I mean, this is about his whole season today, and the first 7 rounds were just not Andy Brayshaw level. He was the MVP of the year.
Oh yeah, you can argue his first 5 rounds were really average, below average.
Yeah,
but
The standard he set for himself last year was really, really high, and he just hasn't been that so far. So I'm gonna stick with a C+.
I'd say a B- for me, but that's just me. You can chime in as well.
How many times are you gonna press this button? Every sentence someone says.
I love this. Okay, Luke Jackson. I think he had a quiet couple of weeks, and from then on, he was excellent. I think he's been one of the top recruits of the season, top 3 even. I think he's settled in really nicely right now. I think he's going to be, one of our best players at Fremantle in the next 5 years, perhaps even longer, hopefully. So I think he's had a solid B. Just a B. I think he's had a B season so far.
Okay.
Yeah, a solid B. So Luke Jackson, solid B. You have a lot more to show us, but for what he's shown, I think he's provided fans with a bit of reassurance that he'll be the player that we picked him for or traded for.
Yeah, I think he's showing that we did pay a good price for him. Michael Walters is next, number 10. Look, Sonny's had a pretty good start to the year. When the big games are on, he shows out, and Sonny has pulled us out of some pretty big holes, especially with Gold Coast. Look, I'm gonna give Sonny a B+. I think he's been our best small forward, maybe outside Schultz, but he has missed a game, and some games he does look a little bit quiet, but he's one of our most important players. I'm giving him a B+. You've got James Aish.
James Aish, I think he's had just a contributing year. He's been one of those players that have been, I think he's had one really good game. I think it was over East. I think it was actually the Melbourne game. He had a really good one. I'm going, he's had a C+ year. I think a lot of players have it for a C+.
Hugh Davey. So one that isn't playing at the moment. He's in the Rezzies at Peel, so he's not even in the league team, but that's understandable. We've got Hamling and Draper locking away those.
He's chipping along very slowly,
he's okay.
but he's learning, and obviously he's a project key defender. He'll be at Peel for the next year and a bit.
He's lightly built, and look, I'm just going to give him a C- for the fact that he is in Rezzies, and Josh Draper's probably ahead of him.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah, so C- for you. Luke Ryan?
Luke Ryan, I think he's having an All-Australian year. His stats are proving it. We talked about that in the last podcast, the one before, and I think Luke Ryan's had an excellent year. I think he's our best defender this year, so I'm going an A+ for him. I think it's our first A+, and I think he's been really consistent every week, and you can't fault him on that. I think he's had one stinker half of a game, and that's about it. So A+, Luke Ryan, you're our first A+ of the night.
Nathan Wilson, 4 games to the year, a pretty good backup option, out of contract at season's end, in and out of the team, probably doesn't have a spot anymore. I'm giving him a D+.
Oh, unlucky. Ethan Hughes, I think he's been showing us, what he's, been able to produce here at the Fremantle Dockers. I think where JL has given him that wing spot and that halfback, I think he's taken that opportunity, but not to the full extent. So I think he's done a solid job. He's not our long-term prospect, though. So I think for just this year, Ethan Hughes, you've filled in really nicely, and especially over the past 5 weeks, I think you've been playing your role perfectly. So I'm going a B to a B- for Ethan Hughes. I think he's, done quite well for the player he is.
Well, if I'm doing evens, number 16, David Mundy. Keep doing lovely things away from football, David Mundy. A+. You're up next.
You're up next. Okay. Will Brodie. This is a really interesting one. Will Brodie. He's had the good year when he plays, but for those times when JL's taken him out, he's had sort of like a bit of a hit or miss. I think he's lost his way a tiny bit, and I think Stu can agree with me too.
He doesn't do some of the things you'd like him to be doing, and especially towards the end of last year.
We did miss him, though.
It's a bit out of form.
Bit out of form, but I still think if he can find his way back in, and we'll talk about this in the next podcast with obviously Will Brodie
team selection
this week. So very interesting. I think Will Brodie, he's had a C- year. I think he's shown us what he can do, but he has plenty more to refine. I think if he puts his head down, he can easily be a B to an A player by the end of the year.
Tom Emmett is up next, played the whole year at Peel and looked pretty good. Don't think we were expecting too much from him this year. He's been a standout at Peel for most weeks.
The depth player, just because we've missed a couple of those forward depth players, and I think we let a couple go over the past few years. I think he's quite a good player to watch in the wings, and I think he had a great year at Sandville last year, and I think Fremantle took a good opportunity.
My grade is C.
Your grade is C?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm taking your players.
No, it's
Sorry,
okay.
mate.
It's okay.
Josh Corbett, he's been at Peel for most of the year, and I think he's done quite a good job, don't you think?
He's
for
been
Peel?
okay.
He's been okay. He came in for that tactical sub, which I didn't agree with.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, he had 4 touches and like a handy mark. But besides that, Josh Corbett, he's been average at Peel. So I'm going for a D+.
Okay.
Just to be nice.
Interesting one up next. Player I've had beef with, Matt Taverner. Matt Taverner, mate.
This guy, though, like, honestly, I'm sorry, man.
Matt Taverner, you were my favorite player when I was like 11 years old. How the times have changed. But yeah, look, Matt Taverner's had a bit of a stinker. Not done much when he's been in the team and been injured when he's not in the team. I'm giving him a D-.
The first one of the night.
Yeah. You're up next.
Joel Hamling, he's been contributing at Peel. I think Peel, because they've been so good recently, I think they're 6-1 on the ladder. I think
just lost their second game.
Just lost the second game, sorry. So 6-2. And I think that's a main contributor because of Joel Hamling and his experience down back. And Josh Draper's given some good credit to Joel Hamling at Peel to, help him become a better player. And I think he's done just that. So Joel Hamling, I'm giving you a C+, just because of injury and you trying to get back into the form. I think he had that one game where he came in. I think it was at the very start of the year.
Have a look. No games played this year,
Really?
unfortunately.
Must have been last year.
It was last year,
At the
round 2
start.
against the Saints.
Wow. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Joel Hamling, you've done pretty well for Peel. So C+.
Max Noble is up next. I haven't really seen much of him.
Played a bit injured.
Played a bit of Rezzies, played a bit of League. Project Ruckman, I haven't seen enough. He's going to be a C. You're up next.
C+. Liam Henry. This is a very interesting one. I want your opinion on this. I think he's a solid B-. 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 I think he's actually, for the times he's come in, C+. C+.
Ooh.
Can't you agree? I think it's C+, because when he comes in, and I do know what I'm saying here. I'm not just waffling.
Okay.
I'm getting offended
I'll
by
let you have your time.
So he's come into the side. I think he's done quite a good job for the play. I'm just waffling, buddy.
No, that's not why I'm laughing.
You
It's
say
fine.
Say it.
Liam Henry, what a disappointment. I'm kidding. Yeah, look, it hasn't been ideal for Liam Henry. He's been
good at waffle.
He's been good at waffle, but I think he's sort of at that stage where he's too good for waffle and not good enough for AFL. So
He's on that breaking point of Connor Blakely where you just need to go, mate. You need to go.
you know that Banfield role where he just had the sub for the whole year? I think that's the role Liam Henry plays. He has to, right? He has to get some AFL experience. He can do some things.
What are you going with?
My grade this year, probably a D+.
D+ or a C-? C- actually.
We'll give a C-.
C-, just because he's taken a step, but half a step.
Next player, my favorite player at the moment, Deadeye Jai, number 24.
Can we both agree that
Yes.
he can be our third A+? He can be our third A player. I think he's an A because his age, his responsibility, and the results he's shown for his age, the position he's playing, and also the responsibility he's playing as a key forward, and arguably our most important key forward at that age of 19. He's our age, and he's holding up
He's
an
younger
AFL
than me, bro.
He's holding up an AFL
He's younger
forward
than me.
line.
He beat out. He found a way to kick 3 against the best backline in the competition.
That
so
deserves an A+. Can we not? Or A? A.
I'm gonna be giving him an A. Not quite an A+, but considering his age, how many games played, and how much
That's
he's
an A+,
already come on,
But arguably we're
An
talking about
A.
this season. Yeah.
If he had kicked 25+ by now, it would have been an A+. But
Okay, that's fair.
yeah.
Okay, A's a good solid effort. Don't get me wrong.
you've got Moose.
Moose, Alex Pearce, number 25. We'll start going through these really, really quickly.
No rush.
No rush at all.
Nah.
Okay. Well, Alex Pearce, I think
Unless
he had a
they're,
really
waffle player.
rocky start to the year. Alex Pearce.
Did.
We got a lot of flack, and a lot of players gave a lot of flack, and a lot of fans gave a lot of flack to Alex Pearce, and a lot of fans and media critics and everything. That's not it. Alex Pearce, he's been, I think, really, 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 really good after round 4 or 5. I think he's stood up against. I think he's had a really good patch of form where he's locked down a really good couple of defenders.
Forwards.
Forwards. My bad.
Oh, good.
It's getting hot.
It's
here,
late,
man.
bro. It's late. It's fine.
Yeah. Alex Pearce, I think he's had a C+ to a B- year, and I think his leadership for the first 5 rounds, C- to a D+. But
first 5 rounds, I would have gave him a D.
D or an F.
But since then, he's been like B+.
C+,
so
or a B-.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B-. Alex Pearce. I think he's got a lot of improvement to do, but I think he's been pretty good.
Hayden Young is up next, the halfback flanker with the blonde locks. Has probably been one of her better defenders this year. His intercepting is something else. And teams have really tried to quell him in recent weeks. So Hayden Young, he's obviously dangerous enough to be looked after by the other team's forwards. So I'm going to be giving him a B+.
B+. Heath Chapman, he's not played too much, but when he has, he's been average. It's not his year.
Hughes is ahead of him at the moment.
Hughes is ahead of him, but it's not his year. That's what we've all come to say. He's still 3 to 4 weeks away coming back from an injury. Heath Chapman, he had a really good year last year, in my opinion. It was a solid B year. But this year, unfortunate due to injury and a slight, tiny bit of form, mainly injury, I still think he's had a D+ year, unfortunately.
Okay.
But because of injury, I'll elevate that to a C- for him, okay?
Okay.
Okay? Is that okay? Is that good?
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't want to be too harsh.
No.
Let me know if I'm being too harsh.
These are your ratings.
Yes.
Okay. Unless I disagree with them too much.
Okay.
No.
Let me know.
They're your.
Let me know.
They're your. Okay. Neil Erasmus is up next. Look, he's probably behind Matt Johnson now, which is a bit strange. But looking back at the draft,
I called it.
I wanted Matt Johnson to be picked at 10.
We
did call this. Neil Erasmus.
Shout out to Chris as well. He wanted that too. Matt Johnson.
Yeah.
I thought he was higher up because of his David Mundy characteristics, but everyone obviously he was the most dangerous forward and midfielder in his draft.
He can't get a game.
No. In WA. When he was drafted, he was kicking goals. And blah, blah, blah.
But now he can't get a game. I'm giving him probably just a C.
C? I think it's a solid C year for him. I think
he's played 3 games, so
he can play more. He can easily play more, and that's
he
what's
might
holding
get
him
the
back.
opportunity this weekend. We'll see. You're up with 29.
29. There's no 29, but there's 30.
I'm back on the clock. Nathan O'Driscoll, has had a bit of a shaky year. Not the same Nathan O'Driscoll we got last year, but he did have a bit of an injury that he's carrying. So I'm going to be nice to him and give him a C, because when you don't really, when you're at uni or you're at TAFE or you're at school and your work is, being impacted by something else in your life and you're still presenting it, and it's still okay, but it's not great. They just give you a C.
Give him a C. Let's give him a C.
Noddy gets a C from me.
Brandon Walker, I think he's actually had his best year to date as well. I think he's secretly going under the radar. His speed, his attributes, his stats, much better. I think he's clamped down on a lot of the small forwards in the competition, especially Charlie Cameron keeping him to 2. Cosy Pickett, he did a really good job on him. I think. And there's a few other small forwards, but Brandon Walker having his best year to date. Not enough love for this small defender. And I think he is having a B, just a B year. I think for the player he is, I think he's having a B year.
Yep, okay. Michael Frederick is up next, number 32. Has had a pretty good year. A few quiet games, but you get that at the half-forward flank. Score involvements, goals, looking creative and dangerous up forward. That's exactly what you want to see from Michael Frederick. So I'm going to be giving him a B as well. You're up next.
Okay. Travis Collier, he's been injured. I think, just to be nice, he hasn't really played at all this year. I think he played 1 game.
No games.
No games at all?
Yeah.
So he was injured before the season even started. I think, just to be nice, I think he's had a D+ year. Just because of his injury. C-. Yeah.
Well,
you can't argue. He's injured.
You're rating. Yeah. Corey Wagner, look, this is third AFL. This is his third AFL club for a reason, and I don't want to be mean to the Wagner family or Corey himself, but like,
okay, mate. Sometimes at the end of the day, you just got to realise that AFL ain't for you.
F.
That's That's brutal.
Well, the one game he played on was just about the worst game I've ever seen from a Docker. So, Corey Wagner gets an F from me.
It's giving the ball. How did I say? It's giving the ball. And I just dropped it.
Oh, or
no.
he's kicked it to the wrong bloke or some stupid stuff like that. You're up next.
Jesus. Josh Tracy, number 35. Actually, I'm really interested.
Kahuna.
I've actually had some good players to choose from. Josh Tracy, though, I think he's had a great year for what we recruited him as. I think he's taken the next step in his growth as a young key forward. I think he's had a really good year. I think he's had a Brandon Walker sort of year where it's like you're a young player and you're a rookie pick, but we picked you well and you're playing in the team regularly and he's played in the side for the past 3 to 4 weeks. So I think he's really created that forward mesh that we've always wanted with Jimis and Luke Jackson. And I think that's the forward line for the next, hopefully, 10 years. Josh Tracy, B here. B plus, you could argue, just because, he's put the effort in, which he has. So, B for Josh Tracy. You've done us proud here, the big kahuna.
Speaking of B, Brennan Cox. Look, well, if Snoop Dogg ever comes to Perth, he knows who to ask for some of that grass. Brennan Cox looks like he's lazy, he's lackadaisical all the time. But look, he's a great interceptor. He's great at coming over as the third man.
He's playing his role.
Just sometimes you just wish he put in 5% extra or 10% extra when a ball's going towards the goal and he just doesn't care. But overall, just a B plus.
Yeah,
pretty good player.
B plus. Josh Draper just recently signed another contract extension, so that shows the club is showing faith. I think he is a great project player. He's showing some good signs. He just made his league debut at Peel really recently, so he's got a lot of development.
I thought he's been playing there for a while.
No, he played reserves.
But he's been on the cusp of selection a few times.
He's been putting to emergency just to get the feel of the vibe and whatnot. Same as Kyle Warner last year. But Josh Draper, I think, has really taken in the culture at Fremantle. Apparently, he's a really modest, really selfless kid. So he's down to earth, and I think he's got his head in the right space. He's really helpful. He's always sending lovely texts to people. Speaking of which, JMS sending lovely texts to Nat Fife.
Who's got an Android, which is
disgusting. I'm joking, but you know what I mean. So
you'd think a guy like Nat 5 could have a nicer phone than an Android.
A few $1 million paychecks every now and again, but you can't afford to spend on it.
Play some different music. Can you? Hot potato, hot potato.
Oh, where's that one?
Bottom right.
Oh.
Hot potato, hot potato.
Yeah, okay, we're back into it, Eric Benning, mate.
Oh, Eric Benning.
I didn't even say Josh Draper's thing.
Yeah, what's his grade?
C.
Nice. Eric Benning. Yeah, look, pretty lackluster. Not being given an extension and played not even league, Rezzies. He's been playing Rezzies, so I'm giving him a D because he is very raw. But come on, Rezzies, really? You're up.
Who else likes it raw? Sam
Whoa.
Satowski. Oh, damn, boy, this fella right here. Sam Satowski. Sorry. Sam Satowski. He takes it from the fans. This fella. He takes it. He laps it up. He enjoys every single bit of this Sam Satowski. I think he's had a great year. I think for what he's shown, other being injured. I think he's been injured a couple times, but Sam Satowski, I think he's another barometer up forward, especially with Lockie Schultz. So shout out to Sam Satowski. I think he's having a...
His brother follows us on Instagram.
He does.
Yes. So
Follows
shout out Matt.
Us.
On
Instagram.
That's what I said.
Did you? Oh, my bad.
Come on, brother.
Sam Satowski.
On,
sorry, bro.
dude.
B.
B?
minus.
Okay.
B minus, actually.
Whoa, just got downgraded real quick.
I'll put it a C plus. Don't you make me. I'll put a C plus.
Okay, sorry.
Watch it.
Carl.
Watch it. Keep going.
Carl Warner, number 40. Look, he's very, very close to a debut. He's been putting up huge numbers in Peel, playing his role nicely, and he's best friends with Nick Dacos, so I am giving him a C plus.
Just because he's best friends with Nick Dacos does not mean he...
Nick Dacos
he
to
does.
Freo.
Yes, he does.
It's happening.
It's
happening.
It's confirmed.
Guys,
Illuminati.
I'm going to be getting in touch with Sam McClure and Tom Brown.
This is like Matthew Lloyd is hearing this.
Nick
everyone.
Dacos is coming to join his best buddy, Carl
Imagine
Warner.
Eddie McGuire's face. The Fremantle Dockers. What the hell? Exactly.
Yeah.
Bailey Banfield, I think he's filled his spot nicely.
He's
I
been
think it's
so good the last few weeks.
and just because as a tennis coach, he gets an A+. I'm joking. That's too much.
Damn, now you're gonna take away his A+. You've just given him an A+. And
He
be like,
deserves a B-.
no,
A B-.
Can you imagine if you've just done an exam and your teacher goes, "Here you go, Rielke, A+," and then and then they go, "Pranked F." No, what are you giving banners?
I'm giving him a B- just
Okay.
for the opportunity he's taken. I think he's done really well. I think he's been solid in contributing well.
Nice. Liam Reedy has been performing well at a waffle, probably the next ruck in line of Jackson.
It's all right. Like, overrated as fuck. in
How
my
is he?
opinion. I mean,
Okay,
Nah,
buddy.
He's still he got. Yeah, if he was up against like Toby Nankervis this week, he would have been spanked a new one. But like I think
Okay.
Liam Reedy, he's been solid at Peel,
C-.
C-, but he's no Lloyd Meek.
We had to. Lloyd Meek's been getting subbed out and dropped from Hawthorn. I don't think that's a good sign.
This is a tribute to Lloyd Meek, the best Peel on the ruckman we've
got-
ever had.
Who got subbed out before halftime on the weekend? Not because he was injured.
Liam Reedy will never be that person. He'll never be that person.
You don't even know these people. What do you mean, Liam Reedy? Just because you're acting like an absolute idiot right now, Liam Reedy is my new favorite player.
Mickey!
If Liam Reedy, if he plays a game this year, I will personally buy his jersey.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got my attention on that one.
Yeah.
Well,
so
okay, let's just
big
get this done.
42 in the
we
back.
We got 4 more players. Let's get this done. Sebek Kwek. I think he has been he's played at Peel the whole year. I think the way he's playing at Peel, I think he deserves a B- or a B. I think because we're just categorizing him on his form and where he's at. For Peel, I think he's been one of Peel's better players this year, especially up forward. I think he's showing a lot of promise. So B- to a B or even a B+. What are you going with? What are you going with?
B-.
B-?
Yeah.
I think he's had a good
He's
year.
still
He
a
can
Peel
take it.
player.
He can still kick
Yeah.
some goals. He can still kick some more goals, and he'll make selection heads turn
Yeah.
to Peel.
Yeah. Matt Johnson, number 44.
Okay, I've been really impressed. And you?
Yeah. I love Matt Johnson. He's just doing all the right things. His handballs. Have you noticed how far this guy handballs it?
Mate, this fella has something in his genes.
He's got
okay.
fists of steel.
He does. I was umpiring with his dad the other day.
Oh yes.
No, I passed the ball to him,
Uh-huh.
and trust me, mate, that fella, he's got hands of bloody steel.
Mm.
Hands of bloody steel.
Mhm.
I also shook him at the start, and I was like, damn, this fella.
Did he leave with your hands?
You know, yes. It's
So
like
you-
he plucked
show
my
me your hands. Show me.
He plucked my arm off like it was a Lego brick. You know,
Oh,
like yeah,
yes.
you know, like
Show me your hands. I want to make sure. Oh yeah, that one is
the
definitely hurt.
the mangled one.
You imagine you just had like a cast up. Like yeah, I shook his hand and now I'm in
Matthew
a cast.
Johnson's dad is an absolute rig and a great fella
Yep.
too. Shout out to the whole family.
I am giving him a B.
B. I think he's had a solid B. Yeah, for the games he's played as well.
Yes.
So
you're up.
Conrad Williams.
Who?
I haven't seen him at Peel at all. Is he? He's playing in the reserves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that Peel or is that Peel Futures? I think he was playing in Peel Futures. He's playing in Peel
Could you
Futures.
imagine an AFL listed player in the futures? In
Sorry,
the bloody
mate.
Colts?
You're not contributing up at reserves level. You got to go down to Colts. Oh wait, no, actually futures.
Futures,
my
mate.
bad, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. You're out to
I feel
local
bad.
footy.
I feel bad because I had so much high hopes for this fella. I've
He'll-
still
he'll
got
be
time.
okay.
I still got chance because he's so raw.
Mate, he's still 18.
I know, but I'm going to give him a chance. Okay?
Okay.
Next year, see me next year for what he's played at reserves. Even the reserves,
See me next year?
I'm C.
Let's see.
C now. See me next year, and you could be a D or you could be an A. I don't care. Just
Ethan
come back.
Stanley, Flat Stanley. Have you seen Flat Stanley, the show?
Yes.
Yes.
Good
Yes.
show as a
Flat
kid.
Stanley is his new nickname, and for that, I'm giving
I
him.
miss Daddy Doka, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring back
He
the
would have
nicknames.
ran with that. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
can, you can credit yourself though now.
he's just showed up to school late, so I'm gonna give him a C-. So.
C-, mate, and that pretty much wraps up the show. The mid-season review will be back for the week ahead very, very soon. So make sure you stay tuned for the episode that's coming out very soon.
Yeah, watch out.
Stuart, it's been a pleasure as always. We'll see you next episode. Go Flagmantle.
Flagmantle. Thank you for listening to the Flagmantle Podcast. It's been an honor hosting, hasn't it, Rielke?
It surely has been, mate.
Can you
It's been
please, we are begging you 5 stars on Spotify. It means the world to
I'm
us.
on
It
my
lets
knees.
us
I'm on my
get
knees.
off your knees, mate.
Yes, I'm on my knees,
But
guys. Please.
It helps us push it out to as many people as we can. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, anything else, Rielke,
Just
Twitter,
anything
YouTube.
social media, honestly.
Anything social media, we have it. So please follow us on there. 5 stars.
Except
don't
for
forget.
OnlyFans.
We're also on Apple
OnlyFans.
Podcasts, so if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts, follow us through there. Google Podcasts, the same. And thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Peace.